episode, we are traveling to Sarapin in the core world, where we will discuss how geothermal energy can power the entirety of the core, how Count Dooku takes finances to a whole new level, and yet another 10-page script. On with the show. Hello there, everyone, and welcome back to Lady Qi'ra's Galactic Adventure, where we traverse the universe in our Correlian Corvette Cruiser, the Vindicator. I am, of course, your host on this excursion, Admiral Qi'ra Vendati of the Alliance to Restore the Republic. This week, we are continuing our exploration of the interior as we travel to the planet Sarapin. If you have no questions, comments, or concerns, then make sure to remember not to let your strange frog child eat the strange frog eggs from an endangered strange frog species as you transport it to another planet. That HE double hockey sticks is canon at the Jedi Order is not somehow, and that the Sarlaccy was so good I went back in. This week on Lady Qi'ra's Galactic Adventure. It is going to be a Legends-rich episode, but our tradition here is to start with the Disney canon, or the closest thing to it, and then break down the legend stuff later. So, in canon, Sarapin is an astronomical object located at M10 in the galactic grid. Astronomical object is a fancy name for a planet or a moon where no major story has taken place on, by the way. Most of the information we have on Sarapin actually comes from alphabet squadrons, so we're not going to be covering it because there's nothing to cover, because it's only... Look, for the ease of not spoiling things for I myself, or you, beautiful viewers, that you may not have, read or played or seen. I'm nice like that. Well, that's literally everything I have on Sarapin. So it's time for everyone to reach underneath their seats and pull out their lenses to learn a bit more about this place, and that is still the cringiest bit that I have ever done. My light just died, so bear with me. Before we get too deep into the legends, it's system time, baby. Sarapin is located in the Sarapin system, a two-planet star system, to our knowledge, that orbits around one sun, Sarapin Prime. How original. I don't have any information on the sun, so let's get straight into the planets. We, of course, have Sarapin, which we will cover after we have covered everything not as cool as it. So we actually have Sarapin 4 next, which we know nothing about, so we're actually going to go back to Sarapin. I know. I actually lied when I said Sarapin was cool, though, as it's actually boiling hot. Literally. Sarapin is most well known for its ashy soil and immense volcanic activity that results in literal rivers of lava reaching around the entire planet. Sarapin also has 2 moons/Darrells, and since they have no name or information, we're not covering them. Because of the sheer heat of Sarapin and its volcanoes, there's no visible water on the surface of the planet, but that doesn't mean it was devoid of life. There was one native species we know of on the planet, the Vapid. Here is a quote from Wikipedia describing them. Quote, "Vapids were brown, ball-shaped, multi-tentacled creatures with 2 yellow eyes and multiple tentacles used to kill prey. A vapid attacked by striking its prey with its tentacles so quickly that they were nothing but a blur to the naked eye." End quote. It was impossible to know how many legs a vapid had unless they were dead. Some had 7, some had more, the most recorded being 23. Interestingly enough, their brutal method of attack was adapted into a lightsaber style, manned by Mastery Mace. Mastery Mace! Who everyone who's not Jar Jar Binks knows as Mace Windu. But not just Mace practiced this, though, as his former Padawan Depa Bilabo would also be a practitioner of this legendary Form 7, also called Vapid, or Juyo. And that's enough of strange tentacle monsters. Let's get back to the planet with everyone's favorite segment. My friends, I think it's history time! Due to the immense geothermal activity, Sarapin became a major energy provider for the Galactic Republic, as well as the Galactic Empire. You might be wondering, how is that possible? This planet is mostly volcanoes and must have an inhospitable atmosphere and climate, so how could they possibly make an industry out of it? to that amazing question, I have one word. Scrap that. 2 words. Space station. You know the old saying, where there are credits, there's a way. Hondo Onaka. I'm not exactly sure how they were harnessing the geothermal power of the plant, but I'm guessing it must be similar to the way we Earthlings harness it to heat our homes. Just, transported across the entire galaxy. Well, there is kind of an explanation, but it's still kind of vague, so I will do my best to explain it to the best of my knowledge, okay? The Republic instituted these laser drills, which would drill into the planet. And I don't know if it's into the volcano, again, not very specific. But the energy emitted would be taken into energy collectors and moved into an energy collection repository to be transported off-world. See, I told you, vague. In the last years of the Republic, Count Dooku, interestingly enough, calculated that 80% of the core's power was from Sarapin alone. And planets like Coruscant and Alderaan and Chandrila and Kamas and all of these super important places are in the core. With billions of people, trillions in total, right? All from Sarapin. Pretty impressive. Much like the KDY and Quad, I think you can guess that a planet this important to the galaxy would be heavily defended and armored with defenses so impenetrable that they could not be breached by a Grand. For reference, go listen to the Quad episode. In fact, Sarapin was so impenetrable that its defenses had only been broken twice in recorded history. Once during the Clone Wars by a separatist fleet, which is why Count Dooku was taking notes on it, and once by rebel forces right before the Battle of Yavin. Would you believe it? For the second week in a row, we have a 10-page script and the end of an episode. And that is everything I have for you on Sarapin and Canon and Legends. I hope you enjoyed your journey this week and your stay so far aboard the Vindicator. If you have any questions or concerns about your stay, feel free to bring it up with one of our personnel on board via a private message or a DM, perhaps on our TikTok accounts at Shadow Collective Rules with a Z, or at Unidentified Robot, or maybe our Instagram at Lady Qi'ra, or perhaps with a review of our show on Apple Podcasts, or if you really want to, as I mentioned Jar Jar Binks, unroll your weird fruit roll-up of a tongue and go hit that subscribe button down below. It's the big red button that probably should say do not press or some reverse psychology action. And while you're down there, you can hit that bell icon too to be notified of every single time I upload a new video, which is usually Mondays at 6:30 a.m. But if you want more of me, I don't know why you would, but you can head on over to patreon.com/LadyKiraProductions, and for only $5 a month, you can have access to tons of additional content, early access to content, and our exclusive Discord community. All of those usernames and their respective platforms will be listed in the show notes. Next time, we will be journeying to Humbarine, and whatever core worlds I can cover in an hour or less. Until next time, my friends, companions, and droids, may the Force be with you all.